YouTube back with another package and pickups video. A big one this time round. Has been kind of going quiet, and after this video it'll be quiet again on pickups. But I've been waiting for a package for a while now. Part of it's been made up, so that's kind of what's been delaying the process. Long story short, because you've probably seen the title in the description, so there's no point kind of keeping it a surprise. I ordered a console from what's the site called? I think it's called consolegoods.co.uk. A guy called Rob, and he has new old stock as it were, items, and one of those was the UK version of the TurboGrafx. So I said, that sounds like a pretty good way to get a retro system. Why not buy a new version of it? So I contacted him and we went back and forth, and I ended up ordering a few bits, and it's finally arrived. But as I said, a few bits had to be made, so I've cracked open the top and we'll get into it. Although one thing I will say, I hate when sellers do this. I don't need your old crap as packaging. You know, I have a bin, I'm sure you have a bin too. Please use it when, instead of discarding your stuff into a package. It's just ridiculous. And packing peanuts, but however. So, let me see. We'll try and do this bit by bit. First up, as I already said, is a controller, a box controller for the, well, PC Engine / TurboGrafx. In the UK it wasn't called the TurboGrafx-16, just the TurboGrafx. So apparently this is, you know, what's it called, a dual pad at the back, and add extra action with extra controllers, but of course you need a turbo tap as well to use it if you want to play multiplayer. So down the line I may have to get one, but I got this just in case I need a replacement, or if I want that stupid wrapping. Or if I wanted a replacement controller, you know, or a second player controller. So then I managed to pick up a game for a Hue card game, and there's no English title on it, but basically it's Bikoriman World, which is one of the Wonder Boy games, and it was only released in Japan. So there we go, nice and complete as well. Although, to be fair, the TurboGrafx releases, or PC Engine releases as this was, they're not exactly overloaded with design and colour. I mean, the manual, black and white, you know, it's only a few pages, although there's some nice artwork I suppose. And then there's no artwork on the back, just the Hudson sticker, which is very surprising. You know, normally you have the game description. But when I slipped in, it made a kind of a squeaking noise. You probably didn't hear it, but it just went straight through me. Kind of like, you know, nailed on a chalkboard. So, digging through, we have the power supply for the system. Of course, because this never got a proper UK European release, these are American systems brought over and repackaged, rebranded basically, and they were going to be distributed by Telegames, hence why there's so much old new stock, or model so much old new stock, and that's why it's got an American plug. But I believe it just a standard travel adapter will work fine to power that. I hope so. Yeah, 220 volt 50 Hz TurboGrafx PAL. So that should do it fine. It's a pity they didn't actually, given that is clearly a PAL adapter, put 3 pins on it, but however. Now, next up is something a little different, and it is a Big Ben S-video cable, and it looks like it's a GameCube cable, but it's not, and the box is actually empty. It's been opened, which make you think, oh god, he just threw in an empty box too, but nope, I'll put this in the ground. I'm not too sure which one of these it is. It's probably this one, and this should be an S-video cable for the N64. Now, from what I understand, the N64 is a bit of a bugger of a system to get a really nice picture out of. Nintendo, in their infinite wisdom, kind of cut off the RGB output, and unless you have an early French model or something like that, you're not going to be able to even hack it to get RGB. So pretty sure S-Video is as good as you can get, but then a lot of the S-Video cables don't give the correct picture on a PAL system, so hence why you have to get a modded one. So that's what that is. Then while on cables, this should be an RGB SCART video, although it's a long cable, or short cable for the SNES. So they had an RGB output on the SNES, they have an RGB output on the GameCube, but for some reason they decided to drop the option on the N64. So the older console had the connection, but the newer console didn't have the modern connection. Just makes no sense to me. That's Nintendo for you. And as a side note, and something that I'll again repeat later, when I dig through this box a bit more, although we're getting near the end. When I was younger, I wouldn't have given two figs about cables. I played on RF, I played on a black and white TV for the longest time too. I tried playing clacks on that, and it didn't bother me if there was, artifacting around. I just never even noticed. And now, maybe it's been older, maybe it's just a TV type, especially retro games on modern TVs, and they're not being suited. The picture quality seems much more noticeable. So if you've ghosting or if you've blurred text and things like that, it really, really stands out and gets me. So I've become much more of a, cable snob and trying to find better cables to get a better picture. I know if you use standard cable or heaven forbid an RF on a Mega Drive or a Master System, and you step up and use an RGB SCART, it's quite a difference. So I'm hoping for the same. Now I'm probably going to have to put this down because there's just so much garbage that has been thrown in here. Not pleased about that. And there's the video cable for the system itself, but I'll come back to that because the system's at the bottom of this box, and I'll try and get it out so that I can put the box on the floor. But I'll probably end up with peanuts everywhere. Yeah, this is going to cause peanuts to go everywhere. Seriously, people, use bubble wrap. There we go. It's upside down. Bam. So, there we have it. The TurboGrafx, the next generation video game. Yep, it says on that size too. And as I said earlier, not the TurboGrafx-16 because this was the PAL release, or the supposed PAL release. Include incredible turbocharged gameplay, arcade quality graphics, up to 512 colours. Ooh. And apparently it includes the TurboGrafx system, TurboPad handheld controller, turbo chip game, and easy to follow instructions. Thank God, because I hate it when they have hard to follow instructions. So I'm going to crack this open. Technically this has already been opened once, and that's because I had some mods done. Which is why the cardboard box here is being popped. Or has it? No, just on this side. But most of it's been put back, which is very nice. So I can let go of the packaging, I guess. So we have the instruction booklet, which is actually still sealed. Obviously no need to go through that. The turbo pad itself, very much a typical 8-bit pad, your two buttons. Unusually it actually, as default, they had turbo fire options, start, select, and a nice looking D-pad actually. It looks like a pretty decent controller. Generally it falls into the too square to be really good controller, but hey, they have the run button, which I assume will also act as a pause button on the controller. That one up Sega straight away. Then of course we have the system itself, which we'll get out. Yeah, there we go. So there's the system. Now this part obviously was taken out of the bag, as I mentioned, to get some mods done. It's a very odd type of system because this back end, in Japan obviously the PC Engine is a tiny little system, you know, like just that section. But they felt in the West, ooh, better make it much bigger because, you know, those Westerners like big systems. So yeah, just expanded the size of the system for no reason. And then they had this detachable part where you could do the whole upgrading the CD drive and whatnot. And this is compatible with all the American peripherals and whatnot. But on the side here, normally it has an RF out, but I had this modded to be an RGB SCART out. Because, as I said, picture quality snob now. And where is the other bit? Maybe it's here. How do I get this off? Now I don't know how to take the back off this thing. And I know it does come off. You're probably saying, read the manual. Oh yeah, we leave it. But there should be a switch somewhere. I'm guessing it's at the back, because that looked like where it was in the picture. Because this part has a secondary component here that basically will switch it from TurboGrafx mode to PC Engine mode, so it should be able to play a Japanese game. Because although I don't think there was any lockout on the CD games, there was a lockout on the Turbo Chip games. Then there's the included game, which is Blazing Lasers, which by all accounts seems to be a pretty good shoot 'em up. And if you're gonna, when I think of the TurboGrafx, the first thing that comes to mind is shooting games. It's just seemed to excel at that genre for whatever reason. Maybe because I had the TurboFire controller built in, I don't know. But yeah, it's not obviously a genre that I would have, you know, had a particular. It wouldn't be my favourite genre, let's put it that way. Not that I don't mind a good shoot 'em up once in a while. And as such, the TurboGrafx had never been the highest up on my priority list of consoles, but I always wanted to get one into collection at some point, try it out, as I do with most systems. And when I seen the console bundle at £50 to get a brand new in box old console, I was like, sure, Jesus, you'd pay more for that any day of the week if they were to come up in an auction. Why not just get a brand new one? And then your man was willing, or he offers modification services, so I said, sure, geez, that saved me that. I mean, I could do it myself, most likely. I looked into it and it's not that tricky. It's just a case of desoldering the existing contact, getting the new, because you have to replace that with a SCART compatible D9 style connector. No, it's not D9, that's controllers. Well, the new one, and wire up a few bits. A little tricky, but it's not remarkably challenging. I don't know, I looked at the region mod one and that seemed a little trickier to do, but it was grand just to be able to get someone else to do them for you. As long as I can figure out how to get the damn back cover off. And you're probably yelling at the screen, gee, you just do, and it comes off. But no, it doesn't. I'm sure there's an obvious way to do it, but I'll figure it out afterwards. So there we go. That's kind of something that's been in the works for a while. Oh yeah, one of those cables, whichever one I didn't show, this one should be the RGB SCART cable for the TurboGrafx. So yeah, this has been in the works for a while, and pretty pleased to get it to try out a new console. And that's 2 new consoles, or 3 if you include the SuperGun, in the last little while. By and large, I don't think I've shown off too many new consoles coming into the collection. It's been largely Sega stuff and a bit of Nintendo stuff here and there, as I was focusing on my Master System collection. And you're probably going, have you forgotten that? No, this was just a side thing, as I always like to dabble in new systems too. It's varieties that spice of life and all that. But eventually, the Master System's taken a bit of a backseat because of shipping prices, and I'm getting near the end of the set, and it's getting harder to find stuff. And Jesus, in some cases I can find games for $1 or £1, and then they're looking for £5 shipping. It just doesn't feel right. So anyway, I'll get back to it eventually, but things are going to be quiet for a little while. We'll fill it with something good though, don't you worry. Yeah, anyway, I'm rambling again, as always is the case. All that's left is to say, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, click to subscribe and like, and always appreciate the feedback, and leave comments. If you know how to get this damn thing open, that'd be good too. And we'll see you again soon with another video.